So after only 2 short years, I'm almost done with the Sherpa build. How long is your longest build? This is maybe one of the longest builds that I've ever done. I'd have to look back and see. There's certainly ones that have dragged on for a long time, but you know, if life happens, I got excuses up to here about this build. And as a matter of fact, for the last 2 months, I haven't been able to wrench. It's been 2 months already. I got the shingles and a lot of nerve pain. Wasn't able to wrench with my right hand at all, really. And even talking about it, I'm getting sympathy pains still in my arm. But I am now to the point to where I can grip a wrench again and I can spin that wrench. So we're going to continue on with this Sherpa build. What do I need to do? Well, we need a drag link for our servo. I'm going to gear down the motor a little bit more. So once again, I got to take the motor, put it back in. And then y'all told me that these rear links, the rear upper links, were backwards installed. I don't think it really matters, honestly. They could be straight links for all that it matters, and they don't hit anything, so I'm probably not going to do anything about that, and y'all can just kind of deal with it, I guess. So for the first thing, I am going to change the gearing on the motor, gear it down to a 60 and 10 instead of a 60. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right now we have a 13 tooth on there. So we need our pinion wrench, and I'm going to use a 1/16 because that's what I can find. And let's see if it's the right size. I'm pretty sure it'll work. Yep, it'll work. Maybe. Maybe I spoke too soon. Fine, I'll use the 1 millimeter or whatever it is. And I must have used Loctite on this guy. You know, I tell you, metal on metal screws, use Loctite. And all right, I'm gonna have to actually take the motor out to get to this. And of course, I took all my nice Vanquish wrenches home so that I could put together the Phoenix with my son. It turns out an 8-year-old doesn't really have very good time management. He doesn't have the best dexterity skills for putting small screws into things. And he also doesn't have a really good ability to stay on task. Who would think an 8-year-old wouldn't be good at staying on task for building a rig start to finish? I could have guessed it, I suppose. At any rate, we've really not made much progress on the Phoenix. I was kind of leaning on him to do the screw install because my hand has been hurting. My wrist has been hurting. My forearm has been hurting. My neck, my back. My neck and my back. But things are getting better. Oh, I didn't have to uninstall all of these. Unscrew, loosen. What did I say? I said unloosen the other day when I was tightening something. I found it funny. And I was called out on it. All right, so I'm gonna just loosen these and tilt her. I'll tilt her. I think I got it. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. There we are. So I gotta take this motor mount and tilt it back so that I can reach the motor screw. And there we are. Is it gonna tilt? Is there any room to tilt? It seems to be locked into place. Oh well, I gotta take it all the way out to get that pinion off, seemingly so. All right, there we go. Pinion off, pinion on. What is your opinion of these pinions? And then I'll do a little quick eyeball. Lucky-loo. Get that pinion mesh just right. And I'm still trying to figure out how to reverse this motor mount to get that bearing pocket on the other side. I have seen it done. And I don't know if there's a reversed one that TGH was selling that I just missed out on or what. But I can't quite figure out how to reverse that sucker. All right, there we go. First screw in. We'll see how we get this pinion mesh. How do we get it? Oh, I can really use that extra long Vanquish driver right now. Ah, c'est la vie. We must work with the tools that we have today. Oh dear. Where did it go? Oh, I lost the screw. It's gone forever now. I'm gonna have to find another one. Oh, that looks close enough. But where did it go? This is going to bother me. Let's take a look. I'm just gonna hide back here for a few minutes. Did it go into my tire bin? Did it go into the black hole that I have stored back here? Oh, I heard it fall. Marco. Marco. Fish out of water. Yeah, it's gone. Hey, there it is. It turned up. This looks like the exact same screw. I'll put it back. All right, one more time. One more again. We shall try this out. Let's see if I can thread the needle. Well, I got it. There we are. I was gonna say I got this screw out, so I know I can reach it. Oh yeah. That looks so much better. Just a little tick of play for pinion mesh, just a teeny tick of play. We want to rotate our spur around to all points on it and make sure that it still retains the proper amount of play. And then we tighten it back down. Ah, yeah, that's gonna give us much more gearing. 30% more gear down. You know me, volt up, gear down. This is a 2700 kV. You know, I could have just changed the motor out, I guess. This isn't really the motor I wanted to go with, but whatever, we're going with it. 2700 kV 6-shooter, 6-pole censored motor. This has got a 15 millimeter stator, so it is a stubby length, which this is going to be quite a bit weaker than the Polar Pro, but it has a little bit better, smoother startup. We can also use our upcoming Crawl Master that is sensorless 10-pole in runner. It also has a 15 millimeter stator, which is very well balanced as far as the power and the weight ratio, and also is pretty much where I want as far as the KV, being able to nail the KVs that are just right. So something like that, even though as compared to a Polar Pro, the 10-pole isn't quite as strong, has a little bit less torque, doesn't have as much power, doesn't nearly have as much RPM range, but we can still use all the gear down that we want. You know, if 6-pole is going to work, the 10-pole is going to work. So maybe I'll switch that out in the future. There's so many parts to choose from. Of course, normally I'd go with an outrunner on this build, but you know, it's whatever. They all drive well. You know, we're talking about splitting hairs at this point on one versus the other. All right, so I need to get my drag link on. Also need to make sure that it's not going to hit the pumpkin. So I need to install it in the right direction. You might have to let me know in the comments what the right direction is, because evidently I'm not good at putting my links on properly. Oh well, I'll take that problem in life. I'll run with it. You can blame all on me. It's my fault. I'm the cause of the world's economic problems. All right, there we go. Gotta slide it through 2 holes. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Now, feels like I should go ahead and install a servo. I don't know if I got any servos here that I want to use. Let's just go off camera here and look through my bins of servos. I literally have bins and bins of servos. Oh, let's see. You know, honestly, I got this new low profile 500 coming. I don't want to pull it from my other vehicle because all I got left is prototypes right now. So I'll just skip the servo for now. I'll skip the servo for now. No big deal. We can come back to that later because I don't want to steal from other rigs. I have a tendency to steal from other rigs, and then it never gets put back on. And you know the story. You know how I operate. All right, we are having our pan-hard mount hit the axle slightly. And I have a couple of ways that I could deal with this. I could reduce the length of our third link, our upper link on the front, and that would clock the axle back just a little bit. But looking at it, I'll do it flat so that I can watch that pinion angle. The pinion angle is already going down a little bit when I go into full compression, which it's a crawling rig. It's really never going to go into full compression. However, I don't want to make that pinion angle worse. I want that pinion angle to be as flat as possible and also in line with the outputs on the transmission. So we don't really want, ideally, we don't want our axle to be clocked off axis from our transmission or the center, whatever, the transfer case on here. We want them to be parallel to each other, because when they're not parallel, you get like a warble in your drive shaft speed, and it'll end up making your rig kind of do this little shimmy. So in an ideal world, we would have our outputs level to the ground, and then we would have our inputs to the axle also level with the ground, which the rear is slightly, ever so slightly tilted up. However, since that one's the one that's going to be dragging on the rocks the most, I also want to kind of get that out of the way. Front is going to be dragging some. Yeah, I really don't want to clock that back anymore. So, what I'm going to do, long story short, I'm just going to file a little bit on this mount. We're going to make some metal shavings. It's not going to take much. I say that and watch it take 5 minutes of filing. But we'll just take that hard edge off. And once it passes by the edge of this axle housing, it should be fine. We really just got to get past it. So let's see. Oh, it's so close. It's like the thickness of the chamfer itself, which is probably either a 0.5 millimeter or a 1/4 millimeter chamfer. Little file. File. Just saw a really cool video from, I believe, Fireball Tool about using a file and the push method versus the push and drag method. And he goes into great detail. He does a great job of, he has an automated machine that does it for him, that tests both of them. He tests the amount of material removed. He tests the dullness, does it dull out your file to do the drag method? Does it clean out the file to do the drag method? He really goes through, does a good job of addressing it. Oh, so close. So close. And I nerd out on those sorts of videos. So the take home was that the drag and push method removed more material, it was faster, and it didn't seem to effectively dull the file, which was kind of a surprise. And then he actually did a test where he did nothing but drag, which is totally wrong on a file because they're cut for a certain direction. And although it damaged a lot of the little, I don't know what you call it, knurlings, the cutting surfaces on there, it actually seemed to resharpen it as well. And so when he went back to normal cutting, it cut faster than it did prior, after being worn out, of course, by cutting first. So really interesting conclusion on that. I am just a push filer, though. I don't drag unless it's something where I have to clean some chips out. And in that case, it can actually be useful for cleaning chips, although Fireball did not find that to be the case in his tests. I believe it really has a lot to do with the material that you're removing as well as the actual file. So on this one, I mean, I can see if I do a light drag back, which he didn't test a light drag actually. So maybe that would be a future test for him. Any rate, getting sidetracked here talking about esoteric filing techniques. But I find that a light drag ends up clearing the chips a little better. All right, is that gonna, look at that, it clears. Bam. What's hitting? Looks like now my link is hitting on the motor mount, but I can twist that link a little bit. I can twist it sideways to probably make it in the orientation that it should be to clear the motor to begin with. Might have to grab my My shock pliers, of course. What is the one tool that I told you that I didn't want and I didn't need, and I've never had a set in my life. I don't like buying tools for no reason. It was these shock pliers, these ball pliers, and I've used them in every single video at this point, I think. So, look at that. I just freaking rotate it right out of the way. This is the reason why I took your advice. You, our YouTube viewers, I took your advice and I bought these guys and I use them all the time. So, thank you. Thank you for telling a very stubborn, almost old man that he needs to get a set of ball pliers, a set of shock pliers. Might have to take that out. Nope, that did it. There we go. All right, so what's hitting now? It looks like it is slightly still hitting on that, and you know, I'll just file that a little more on another video, but that's doing a lot better right now, and we're never going to be in full compression anyway. When we do articulation, okay, it's still hitting a little bit on articulation, but I don't want to make my pinion angle worse, so we're going to call that good. We're going to move on. Now, let's see. I do have some sliders that I could steal, because honestly, this other rig's probably not going to get built. I need some place to put my electronics. This 6-shooter actually works really good on a Crawlmaster ESC sensorless. It also works really good censored, so I have a choice, maybe a Mamba Micro X for this. I don't know if I got one here. Let's see, but that's what needs to happen at this point, although I could put that off and just install my wheels so it looks like a real vehicle. I'm gonna put that off. Let's install some wheels. I can go to the shop and finish up the electrics. So the question is, do I put it on training wheels? Grab something like these old Pitbull Rock Beasts, some freaking huge tires, or do I grab my 2.2s, or my 1.9s, I mean, which now I have to consider if I'm gonna steal them from another rig again. Yes, back to the old problem of stealing parts from other rigs. I know I've got plenty of wheels around here. Matter of fact, here we go. I specifically had a set. Let's see, we got these methods right here. What's my track width? Not with these axles. I need some heavy offset wheels from TGH. Yeah, here we go. All right, yes, and I also have another bin at home. That's where all the other stuff went. I got another bin at home with a lot of these HO wheels and the tires as well. Ooh, and I got little spacers. I got some scale rotors for those scale points for Sorka, which, you know, I'm likely never gonna compete. Who knows? Who cares? Maybe you do. Let me know in the comments. And we got some aluminum center TGH HO wheels for the rear. We got some brass centers for the front, be really nice and forward biased. All right, so I left my wheels at another place. Now I need the electronics. The electronics are also at the shop. So it looks like we're at a great stopping point today. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm almost there though. I'm so close that I can taste it, but I'm gonna have to make a list right now. I'm gonna make my list of what I need to grab or do from the shop for the Sherpa build. I'm gonna finish this thing. I am gonna finish this build. I would say try to do it this week, but it's Thanksgiving week, the week that we're filming. So I need ESC, I need servo, I need wheels, rims / tires. I mean, I should probably I already got a battery here. I won't put it on the list, but that would be proper to put it on there because then I can scratch it off the list. Nothing better than putting something on the list just so you can scratch it off the list. You know what? And I'm going to put start list on here. Start list, which I've already completed, so I'm marking that off the list. We're already one step closer to getting this done. All right, so if you got any questions about these sorts of builds, you know, why would it take me 2 years to get a build done when, well, I have so many toys already? Leave your comments down below. I'll do my best to get to them. As always, have a good day.